Hello, this is Demon Phoenix with a Witcher 3 video, this time about the Hunter Instinct skill. Hunter Instinct would be a fantastic skill. It's an alchemy skill that you get later on in the tree, and when the adrenaline points are at their maximum, critical hit damage against the tagged enemy type is increased by 100%. So that would be a massive damage increase as long as you're using the correct oil type against that enemy. The problem is Hunter Instinct is bugged and it doesn't work, so whilst it's recommended to be in a lot of people's videos and builds and things like that, I'm just going to show how I've tested it to show that it isn't actually working. So this build is just a mutated skin build with a lot of alchemy skills to stop me from taking any damage. Mutated skin also shows up the adrenaline build that you've got, because the 45% damage reduction for having 3 adrenaline points shows on the potion screen. I've also got killing spree so that we can increase the critical hit damage and get guaranteed critical hits after killing 2 enemies. I've got a normal sword here that I've just crafted, and the Ursine gear but made to be light armor with the levity skill. So because we've got that, we can test Hunter Instinct by having very basic damage on the build and then just using cat school techniques to see what 100% critical hit damage increase should be, and comparing that to swapping the cat school techniques for Hunter Instinct. So this is just a base test here where I don't have any skill in the first slot. So it's the exact same build, but I'm just testing the base damage. And here you can see that when we're using heavy attacks, it's just doing about 2,200 per hit. And that's pretty much what we'd expect based on the DPS screen. So here is it testing it with cat school techniques, and again all 4 pieces of armor are light. We're using heavy attacks to ignore the 20% damage bonus that cat school techniques give to fast attacks. So if you look at the DPS here, we're looking at again the critical strong hit damage. That's what we want to be testing, and it's about 3,200 per hit, give or take the variance from any given random sword strike, because it's never exactly the same damage, there's a little bit of variance. So here mutated skin is showing that 45%, you can see the adrenaline meter's full. So taking into account all of that, the hits are doing about 3,200 per hit. So you can see that that damage lines up pretty much with what's on the DPS screen. Now here is with Hunter Instinct replacing the cat school techniques. So again, Hunter Instinct is supposed to be 100% critical hit damage when your adrenaline points are at max and you have the correct oil. So we've got the superior Hangman's Venom there, which is the correct oil for fighting human enemies. So what should be happening is there should be 100% damage increase from Hunter Instinct, and it should be doing about 3,200 again, but you can see that it's just not working. So the damage is pretty much the same as the base build, possibly very slightly higher, so it might be doing the 20% increase, but it's definitely not 100%, and it's not worth having the skill if it's not working properly. To test it further, here is cat school techniques with a higher damage sword. So this is the Toussaint Knight steel sword, and whilst that does add a critical hit damage percentage itself, this is just to show the higher damage, and you can see the damage, the difference even better when you're looking at this damage. So with the Toussaint Knight steel sword, when it's doing critical hit damages here, it's doing about 6,000 per hit, and again they're taking into account the variance, some are a little higher, some are a little lower, but that's big damage. So again, if you swap cat school techniques for Hunter Instinct, you should see the exact same damage, because it's swapping 100% critical hit damage from cat school techniques for 100% critical hit damage from Hunter Instinct. Again, we've got the Toussaint Knight steel sword and the correct oil. It doesn't show up on the DPS screen, but that's fine, some skills don't do. But you can just see it's just not working again. So even though we've got 300% adrenaline, so 3 adrenaline points, it should be doing the maximum amount of damage, 6,000 and something, about the same, and it's just not working like that. The final thing we're going to test in just a moment is to show that even when you switch the oil to be the beast oil, you should see a massive drop in damage if Hunter Instinct was working, because you'd lose the 50% from having the correct oil and the 100% from Hunter Instinct. But again, it just doesn't happen. All you lose is the 50% from not having the correct oil. So unfortunately, Hunter Instinct doesn't work, and it's not worth having in any builds. So if you're using any builds that do recommend Hunter Instinct, I would switch it for another skill and change it to something like a red skill to match with a greater red mutagen, and you can get a more useful skill that actually is working and increases the damage. So I hope that was useful and proves that unfortunately Hunter Instinct does not work as it should do. It's a shame because it doesn't have the synergy with killing spree that you would expect, but here again, final thing, switch into the beast oil and you see that the damage doesn't drop as precipitously as you would think. So thank you for watching, like and subscribe for more videos, and thank you. Bye bye.